Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi guys, CeeChronicles here. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. I post fragrance related content here and would very much appreciate you joining the family by subscribing. That is if you're not subscribed. And to those who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I have these two fragrances that I'm going to leave in Dubai with my courier, but because they're going to get to me in 45 days, I am going to review them for you offset, and then we can just roll the review as we wait. So one, this is going to be based on first impressions, and secondly, because I just couldn't wait to smell them. These are of the House of Paris corner. One is RUA, and it comes in the clear, or rather the white box, and then there's Radiant Roses that comes in the fuchsia pink box. So I picked out these two and decided that they're going to stay behind, but we're going to do a review of them anyway because they're paired. Okay, I think the bottles are the same, but of course the colors are different. Okay, so this is the RUA, the one in the white box. I'm going to give you my first impressions, because even as I went to Paris Corner, the company itself, I did not smell this. Well, if I did, then I can't remember. I've been doing a lot of things, guys. So this is the bottle. That's a close-up of it. Quite light bottle. I was thinking it was going to be heavy, but it's quite light. It's got the tassel, as you can see. Plastic cap doesn't bother me because of the price point. But you know, with Paris Corner, they can be a little bit expensive, so maybe they need to change when it comes to their plastic caps. This is the first impressions of RUA. Okay, offset, unfortunately I get a familiar DNA. This gives me rhubarb. Okay, and when I say rhubarb, I know most of you are like, okay, there we go again, it's gonna be another Delina. Let's see what it transforms to. But yes, I do get rhubarb, I do get a lychee here, and I do get a powdery incensey accord, and I do get a fruitiness, okay, that is beyond that, just that rhubarb.
Oh, antibiotics.
Yes, that is the incensey thing. You know, Maima always calls it antibiotic. It's a powdery type of thing, okay, where some of you are going to call it musky. That is what I get. Okay, the rhubarb in here is very prominent, so you are going to get that, like a very prominent type of a rhubarb. The way it's done here is quite loud. I am tempted to say this is cut from the same cloth as Delina the Exclusive. What I'm just not sure of whether it was a smart move to maybe do another exclusive, because we've had a lot of those DNAs flying about. But anyway, let's see. Something in here is now coming across as a little bit of citrusy. Okay, there is a citrus way to this, and the citrusy way to this is lemony, which is not something that I get in exclusive. Now, there is a nectarous thing coming to the surface, so it does seem like that rhubarb is not working alone, but it's quite pushy. The rhubarb in itself does feel as though there's a weight of a peach in here. Something is peachy about this fragrance. Peachy in the way the peach comes across in what is the other one from the PDM that they gave us? What is the other?
2,000 years later.
So there's a nectarous accord to this, there's a peachy way to this, something that I get from Cassili. You know, Cassili is also from the PDM, so this seems to be a fusion of that PDM Delina Exclusive and Cassili. Cassili coming in there just for the peach weight. If you know Cassili, you will know that there's a peachy accord to that fragrance. So I am getting peach that I would liken to what I get in Cassili. So this does feel like a twist, but again, maybe one that is coming a little bit too late there, because the that DNA in itself has been about the block for a long time. So it may be a fragrance that may not wow some people. Maybe a fragrance that some may not feel, you know, drawn to purchase, because it does have that yo-yoing thing, that lychee, that bergamot, the rose. You know what you get from that exclusive? Yeah, it's certainly fruity. Okay, so it feels like a fruit punch to the PDM, which is the peach that you're gonna get, which will remind you of Cassili, a little bit of some berries there, as well as that rhubarb, but it's not screechy. Even the incense is not pushy, just like you would get it in, exclusive. But the only con is the fact that it's going to have that familiarity there that you get from exclusive. So because of that, guys, I'm going to rest it here when it comes to RUA. Let's see what we discover in the other RUA, which is RUA Radiant Roses. Okay, so I'm going to presume that this one is going to have a decent dose of rose, more so that maybe the color of it, and it does say roses, and it does have the picture of the roses there. So let's open it, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts on Radiant Rose. Okay, so let's get into the box and I'll tell you my thoughts. Whether this feels like a continuation of the other, whether this is also going to have a PDM semblance to it, let's see. Okay, so bottle looks the same, except that this one is fuchsia in color. I actually love this color of the bottle. Reminds me of, okay, let's see the color. Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay, okay. It's not pushy, but there was something there that was like, that just went in my eye. This is not pushy, okay. It also has something in here that I get from the original Delina without it being a Delina. Okay, so this has got something that you will get from Delina, but it's not outright Delina, right? So I'm not gonna, take anything away from this and say it is outright Delina. There's a little bit of a creaminess to this. There's also a fruit in here. That fruit again is rhubarby in nature, but is not as prominent in its, rhubarbiness as I got in here. So this is kind of like giving wafts off without it outright being a rhubarb. I'm trying to think what other fruit would come across as this. Berries, perhaps. But with that, Delina undertone. This also has that incensey feel to it. I'm getting a twist here where it seems as though Paris Corner, when it comes to the identity of this one, they didn't want to be outright. However, I do see other people just saying it smells like Delina, if you know what I mean. But to me, Delina is a little bit more pushy than what I'm getting in here. There is a vanilla here, a creaminess in here, but that creaminess also has a powderiness thing. It's kind of like switching, between creamy and powdery, then that fruity thing that you get in Delina there, without it being as pushy as the one I get in here. Something that feels like raspberry. I'm just going on my nose, guys. And of course, a rose. And the rose in here, it's not pushy. It's a powdery rose. Yeah, it's only a powdery rose. Definitely gives me feminine vibes, this fragrance, okay. However, I think my decision to have it mailed to me than to carry it is a good one here, in the sense that it just reminds me, it's one of those fragrances that when you unbox a fragrance, you want an element of surprise. You want to decode the actual fragrance and to discover it with your audience. But if it kind of gives you like a certain base, then you really don't have much to say, which is something that I'm getting in here. I would have preferred that this one takes a more, citric, zingy even vibe and give us a rendition of Oriana. But that is not what I'm getting. That is not what I'm getting. I'm getting, again, another one that feels like the Delina, but with a twist. Okay, so Radiant Roses is certainly going to be one that you love. If you love that Delina DNA without it being outright, okay, powdery accord, musky, that sort of thing. So yeah, that is what I can say, guys, about these two. Not much really, because they're outright reminding me of some DNAs that I've used before. This one particularly smelling a lot like that exclusive. If it changes, then it changes. I will let you know. I would have hoped that maybe this one would borrow from that Le Rosé, if you know what I mean, but because it's still new in my collection, it could be a fragrance that needs to develop, which these two actually feel like a continuation of each other, if you know what I mean. But both of them, again, not identifying solely with those two DNAs. However, if you have smelled those two DNAs, they're gonna remind you of that, if you know what I mean. You're going to have something in both that reminds you, one of the exclusive and the one of the Delina. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section, guys, where we discuss more about fragrances. Have you come across these ones from Paris Corner? If you're wondering where to get Paris Corners, you can get them off Aroma Concepts as well as off Hygie Scent. Okay, so you could, if you want decants, you could get the decants off Hygie Scents. If you want the full bottles, you can get those off Aroma Concepts. And of course, we can discuss more about these in the comment section. Remember to turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one. And remember that smelling good, guys, is a form of good manners. Cheers.